Okay, so hello everyone, hello children. I hope you are all fine. Okay, so today we are going to learn the first chapter of your computer syllabus, that is system unit. Now, before moving ahead and starting the chapter, I request you all to please keep your textbooks beside you so that you will come to know what I am actually trying to discuss with you. Okay, so open the first chapter in your textbook, system unit. So you can actually pause your video here and also get your textbook. If you have not got yet, get your textbook and keep it beside you so that you will understand in a more clear way. Okay, now open the first chapter of your syllabus of your book, that is the system unit. Okay, so moving ahead. Okay, so moving ahead, before going to system unit, let us revise what we have studied in the fourth class. You all know that the computer has three main parts, and that are input devices, output devices, system unit, right? Now, input devices means what? Input devices, as in you have studied about keyboard, mouse, right? In your previous class, fourth class. So, and output devices means what? Desktop, printer, right? Input devices and output devices you have studied in the earlier classes, in the fourth class. Now, we are beginning to study about the system unit. Okay. Now, what is the system unit? A system unit is the main part of the computer because the central processing unit is placed inside it. Right. What is meant by system unit? It is the main part of the computer. And why it is the main part? Because the CPU, the central processing unit, is placed inside it. As you all know that the CPU or the central processing unit, it is the brain of computer, and without brain of the computer cannot function it, right? Just imagine about our body, that if we don't have brain, then how our body will function, how our body parts will get the instructions, right? We will not be able to do any of the work, right? In the same way, if the brain of the computer, and that is central processing unit, is not there, then how computer will function, right? Because the central processing unit is the brain of the computer, and that is situated inside, that is placed inside the system unit. That's why the system unit is the main part of the computer. Okay, main part, it is very important part of the computer, right? Now, in this chapter, we are going to study what are the devices that are situated, that are placed inside the system unit. Okay, fine. What we are going to study? We are going to study some of the devices that are placed inside the system unit. Okay, fine. What we have studied till now? Input devices and output devices in fourth class. And what we are going to study in this chapter? About the system unit. Okay, now system unit, it is the main part of the computer. And why it is the main part of the computer? Because the central processing unit or the CPU is placed inside it. And why CPU is so important? Because it is called the brain of the computer. Okay, we are going to learn why it is called the brain of computer again in the next slides. Okay, fine. Now, what this chapter comprises of? It comprises of the devices which are placed inside the system unit, and we are going to learn some details about the devices. Okay, and which are the devices? The devices which are placed inside the system unit. Okay, fine. So moving on. Okay, so the very first device that we are going to study that is placed inside the system unit, and that is the motherboard. Okay, what is the very first device that we are going to study? That is the motherboard. Now on your screen, if you will focus on the right side of the screen, you will see one image over there. Okay, are you able to see one image? Okay, that image is of nothing but the image of the motherboard. Okay, that image is of nothing but the image of the motherboard. Okay, now we are going to study few more details about the motherboard. Motherboard is nothing but a piece of fiber glass found in the system unit is called the motherboard. Okay, you will see a piece of fiber glass. On that glass various controllers, chips, again very much devices, transistors and all. About these devices you will learn in higher classes. Now just remember that motherboard is nothing but a piece of fiber glass. Now that green part, are you able to see? That is nothing but a piece of fiber glass, and it is placed inside the system unit. In short, in more simpler way, motherboard is nothing but it is the main circuit board of the computer. Okay, it is the main circuit board of the computer and is also known as the main board or the logic board. Okay, what is meant by motherboard? It is the nothing but the main circuit board of the computer, and all your programs, all your tasks, all your files are executed, are stored, are being performed, are being saved inside this motherboard only, on this fiberglass only. And how they are going to store and all, that is not included, that you need not worry now. You will worry about that in the higher classes. Okay, now motherboard is nothing but it is the main circuit board of the computer and is also known as the main board or the logic board. Okay, now if you will see on this motherboard carefully, you will notice there that there are some printed circuits drawn on this fiberglass. Okay, that's why it is also called as the printed circuit board. Okay, what is called what is the another name of the motherboard? Printed circuit board. Okay, if you will open your computer, if you will open your system unit, you will find one fiber glass placed inside it, and that is nothing but the motherboard only. It is also called as what? Printed circuit board, because you will see some printed circuits drawn on the that motherboard. Okay, now the components needed to run are installed on it. Okay, now what are the components that are needed to run the computer? That all that things are where they are stored? They are stored inside on this motherboard only. Okay, now as the fiberglass does not conduct electricity, each component remains safely insulated from other components. Okay, now fiberglass, as you know that it is the bad conductor of electricity. It doesn't allow electricity to pass through it. Now therefore the component are the components installed on this motherboard are safe. Okay, they do not mingle with each other. There is no risk of any short circuit on this motherboard because of the electricity. Okay, because the fiberglass keeps it safe. And why it keeps it safe? Because the fiberglass do not conduct electricity, it does not allow that the short circuit will happen only. Okay, it will keep all its components safe and insulated from the other components. Okay, it will keep all its component what? Safe, because the fiberglass do not conduct electricity. Okay, now what we have studied about the motherboard? It is the piece of fiberglass found in the system unit, that is nothing but the motherboard. It is also called as the printed circuit board. Okay, in short, motherboard is nothing but the main circuit board of computer, or it is also known as the main board or the logic board. Okay. Okay, so the next device that we are going to study is of nothing but the battery. Okay, if you focus on the right side of your screen, that you will notice an image, and that image is of nothing but the battery of your desktop computer. Okay, and this type of battery that you're seeing on your screen, the image which you're seeing on your screen, you will find it only in inside the desktop computer. Okay, now what does the battery does? Do you know what does the battery does? It is responsible for providing the electricity to all other parts of the computer. Okay, a battery is a device inside the system unit for providing the direct current electricity. What it means, it is responsible for providing the electricity to all other parts of the computer. Okay, now one more point you will need to study in this battery part. Okay, just notice what is the timing in your desktop. Okay, I will give you 5 seconds. Just notice what is the timing on your desktop. Okay, have you noticed? Now, uh, if you switch off, if I'm saying, if you switch off your PC or desktop, and again when you switch it on, you have to switch off for how many hours? 2 or many, according to you it is. Okay, suppose you switch off up to 2 or 3 hours, and then again you switch it on again. Again you switch it on, you will notice, will you notice the same timing on your screen on your desktop? No, you will not notice the same timings. Okay, suppose your current timing is 2:35 p.m. Then after switching it on after 2 or 3 hours, you will not notice that there is the timing has not changed. It is also showing 2:35 p.m. only. No, it will not show that. It will show you the current timing, right? Have you thought of how it is happening? It is happening because of this device, that is battery. Okay, it is the current from this battery that keeps the timer and the calendar running even when the computer is switched off. Okay, now even when the computer is switched off, this battery is providing the current so that your timer and the calendar inside your desktop is still running, and they will give you the exact results. Okay, when you want it, right? Okay, so in short, battery is what? It is a device inside the system unit for providing the direct current electricity to all other parts of the computer. Okay, fine. So moving on. Okay, so the next device that we are going to study, and that is nothing but the power supply unit. We have studied till now two devices. Okay, now the third device is power supply unit. Okay, now if you focus on the right side of your screen, you will notice one image, and that image is of nothing but the power supply unit only. And this power supply unit, you will find it inside in the desktop computer only. Okay, now, what is meant by the power supply unit? The suppose not. Okay, just you know that the components of the personal computer as in your desktop, it needs only the 5 volt and 12 volt voltage current supply only. Okay, the components of the personal computer, the components of your desktop, it needs only 5 volt and 12 volt voltage current supply only. Okay, now what is meant by voltage? It is the unit of the current, just like the kilometer is the unit of the distance. So in such a way, in similar way, voltage is the unit of the current. Okay, now the components of your desktop needs only 5 volt and 12 volt current supply, voltage current supply. Okay, now since the components need such low voltage current, it requires a device which converts the high voltage current into the required low voltage current, uh, and that device is nothing but the power supply unit. Okay, what is the function of the power supply unit? It converts the high voltage current to the low voltage current as required. Okay, now this device which converts the high voltage current to low voltage current as required, that device is nothing but the power supply unit, and it is placed inside the system unit so that your components get the correct voltage current supply. Okay, if they get the high voltage current, then that components will be failed. Okay, they will not function properly. It is possible that they might lose their flexibility, they might be able not to function. Okay, they will get damaged. Okay, so to avoid this risk, a device called power supply unit, it is used, and this device will convert the high voltage current into the low voltage current for the for all the components that of your desktop, and this device is nothing but the power supply unit. and where it is placed inside the system unit. Okay, fine. So moving on. Okay, so moving on, the next device that we are going to study, and that device is nothing but the main memory. Now, hearing the name memory, what comes to your mind? Think of what comes to your mind. Storage, right? Memory means what? Storage, retaining information, right? Okay. Now, just imagine you have learnt a lesson, and whatever information that you have learnt about a lesson, and where it is stored inside your body, it is stored inside your memory. Okay. In a similar way, whatever files, whatever tasks that we are doing, and whatever tasks we are saving inside the desktop, where that task or files or folders that are being saved, inside the memory. Okay, it is saved where it is saved, it is saved inside the memory. Now, in memory there are two parts, main memory and secondary memory. Okay, so in your syllabus only main memory is included. Okay, secondary memory you will study in higher classes. Okay, now focus on the main memory. Main memory is also called as the primary memory. It is the most crucial memory of the desktop of the computer. Okay, now it is also known as the primary memory. Okay, why it is known as the primary memory? Because in second point you will read, if you read it you will get it. Now, second point, what it says, it determines the amount of data that can be stored in the computer as well as the amount of data which can be processed. Okay. Now, why it is known as primary memory? Because it determines the amount of data that can be stored. Okay. If the data that you're storing inside your computer, it doesn't meet the need of the computer, it is oversized, or computer cannot store, that's why that how it can be determined whether the computer can store or not. It is determined by using the it is determined by the main memory only. Okay, what is the function of the main memory? It determines the amount of data that can be stored in the computer. Okay, as well as the amount of data which can be processed, which can be executed. Okay, so two functions of the main functions are the amount of data that can be stored in the computer and the amount of data which can be executed or processed. Okay, now in the main memory there are two sub parts, that is RAM and ROM. Okay, this RAM and ROM again we are going to study further. Okay, so in short, what is main memory? It is the primary memory of the computer. And what is the function of the main memory? It determines the amount of data that can be stored in the computer as well as the amount of data which can be processed. Okay, and there are two parts of the main memory. Which are the two parts? RAM and ROM. Now, the main memory consists of the two parts, as we have seen in previous slide, that is RAM and ROM. Okay, to make you understand in the more clear way, I have made a table between RAM and ROM, as you can see on your screen. Okay, so you will understand in the more clear way this according to this table. Okay, now what is the first point between RAM and ROM? RAM stands for random access memory and ROM stands for read only memory. Okay, what is the full form of RAM? It is the random access memory. And what is the full form of ROM? ROM, it stands for read only memory. Okay, it is very much important, you should remember this full forms. Okay, so keep it in mind. Okay, so the next point that we are going to study between RAM and ROM, it is that it holds the data temporarily as long as the power supply is not cut off or interrupted while working on the computer. Means as long as your computer has the power supply, as long as your computer is switched on, okay, that your RAM information will be stored. Okay, but as soon as your computer is switched off, as soon as your power supply is cut off, then after switching it on again, you will not find that the task or the data which you have saved inside the RAM, okay, because it just vanishes, okay, and that's why it is RAM is called as the temporary memory, okay. Why? Because it holds the data temporarily, okay. Now, ROM is the complete opposite of RAM, and ROM is nothing but it holds the data permanently. Means even if your power supply is switched off, your information will be saved permanently when and you will be able to uh, restore it. You will be able to read it again. You will be able to save it again. You will be able to make the changes again after your power supply is switched on, okay. It means what? Even if your power supply is cut off, even if you switch off your computer, the information which you have stored earlier, it will be stored permanently, and you will be able to retain it even after you switch on your computer, okay. Understood? Now, next point that is between RAM and ROM is nothing but here the information can be written onto and it can also be read from RAM. Means what? Here information can be read also and you can also make the changes inside the RAM. Okay. Here information can be written and also it can be read from RAM. That's why RAM is called as the read-write memory. Okay, fine. Information can be written and read from RAM. Okay, now what is the third point in ROM? Here information can only be read and not written onto the ROM. Means what? Here information stored, here only you can read it. You cannot overwrite it. You cannot make any changes. Only you will be able to read it. Why? Because that information is stored permanently and it is locked. Okay, that's why here information can only be read and not be written onto ROM. Then that's why ROM stands for what? Read only memory. Okay, fine. Just remember all the 3 points. It is very much important. Okay, it is the most important part of the main memory, RAM and ROM. Okay, you need to understand it. Okay, fine. So moving on. Okay, so what we have studied in today's session, we have studied about the system unit, okay, and we have studied few devices that are installed inside the system unit. We have studied till now 4 devices, and which are the 4 devices? Motherboard, again recall it, what? Motherboard, battery, power supply unit and main memory unit, okay. These 4 devices we have studied. There are few more devices that we will study in the next session. Till that, revise what I have taught today, okay. And if you are having any doubt, you can ask me anytime via email, okay. Fine, thank you so much. Okay, so stay safe till that, till we meet in our next session. Okay, so stay safe. Thank you for listening me and revise what I have taught today. It is very important to revise. Okay, here you will understand, but you need to revise it to retain it inside your memory. Okay, fine. Till that, take care, stay safe, and thank you. Okay.